got some questions for you all about the Humane Society and your new exciting program. So I was wondering if you all could start with just introducing yourself, your names, pronouns, your roles, and then also what pets you have.
Shannon, go first. Mine will take longer.
Welcome. My name is Shannon Wells. I'm the new executive director of the Lawrence Humane Society. I've been here now for about 9 months, and it's been a whirlwind 9 months during COVID especially. My pronouns are she and her. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about my role at the Lawrence Humane Society. I'm basically kind of oversight of everything. I oversee all the staff and ensure that we're raising funds to keep operations going and connecting with the community. So I get to be a jack of all trades and work with an incredible staff of 34 people with a heart of gold. So I'm a pretty lucky lady. And I'm also, my other very important role in my life is to be the proud mom of 3 dogs. I have the matriarch of my family is Mama, and she's an 11-year-old toothless pit bull. And she often comes to the shelter. So if you're ever down there, you will meet her and love her. I also have an 11-year-old English Bulldog mix named Tug and a sprightly and very ornery 1-year-old Shar-Pei mix named Finn. And he was a dog I treated for parvo back at the old shelter I used to work with, and fell in love with his face and had to keep him. So here he is.
All right. And so I'm Alina Alterman. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm the senior manager of administration at the shelter, which is a mix of different duties, a lot of data work, a lot of paperwork. And right now I'm temporarily kind of managing this program, the Crisis Pet Retention Program, trying to get it worked out, get all the kinks worked out, and get it off the ground before ultimately it transitions to the Pet Resource Center. So I have, at this moment, 13 animals in my house. Only 12 of them are mine. I have, oh, it's echoing again. I have 5 dogs, all seniors. I'm not trying to even go through what their breeds are or names or anything, but there's 5 of them, and they range in age from 8 to 15. So it's basically just a dog, old folks home at my house. And then I have 5 adult cats and 2 kittens that were both foster fails from the shelter. And right now I have a foster kitten named Ruth who survived being hit by a car. And soon we'll be looking for a home. So if someone needs a really cute kitten.
That's a perfect plug to get a kitten adopted with this too. All right. So
I'm tossing treats to my dog. So if you see like my shoulder like popping up in the corner, I'm keeping him quiet while we're recording.
This is perfect. I will try not to have my dog mom face on if mine start barking. So tell us about this, the CPR program then.
Alina, do you want to start off?
Here, you go for it, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, that sounds good. So in the past, we had a very meager program that we were able to use to try to help keep pets in the home if someone was at the point of surrendering. And it was funded by the ASPCA, and that funding has run out. And we used this as an opportunity to really reinvent the program and put less limitations on how we could use it. I think, we're so blessed that we have this beautiful shelter, we have this animal loving community. And so we are now at this point where we really wanted to talk about what was the next step for the Lawrence Humane Society, and increasing the way that we serve the public is really where we're at. We're really trying to prioritize that. And so, we were already thinking about this rebranding of our retention program, and with everything going on with COVID, it just seems like it was critical that we get this up and running because the time and the need was so critical. So we've relaunched the program just officially a week ago, and what it is it's designed to provide solutions to help pet owners be able to keep their pet instead of having to surrender, and to help them to, maintain, standard of care for those animals, especially during times of crisis. So job loss, economic hardship, home loss, all of those things. And with us reinventing this program, we are reaching out to as many people in the community as we can to make sure that our message is reaching beyond just the normal people that we might have reached in the past, so that everyone who truly needs help knows that they can reach out to us. We do have some standard ways that we're trying to help people, but we're also being pretty creative and open-minded. So if somebody has a problem that is a barrier to them being able to keep and care for their pet, we're open to seeing whether or not we can help them.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one thing that I've heard Shannon say, and that really resonates for me, is that the future of animal sheltering is outside the shelter. And I think this program really tries to get at that we're always here to provide a backstop for the community. We're always here to serve the community, but it is always best for the pets and their parents, if at all possible, they're able to stay together. And this program helps provide that. And, for me, one thing that is really meaningful about this is that, I know people have heard this because I know I've heard it from all kinds of folks, including social service providers and others in the nonprofit community, that if someone can't afford a pet, then they shouldn't have one. And there's a lot of baggage in that kind of sentiment. There's a lot to unpack there. It's kind of a lot of classism and ableism and racism in a sentiment like that, because we know that every human is deserving of an unconditional love from a pet, and every pet is deserving of unconditional love from an owner, from a pet parent. And this program does away with all of those notions, knowing that all of us are one big emergency away from potentially becoming homeless. There is no judgment, and we are all equal in this, especially right now with COVID. So we are kind of reinventing how this works.
And I think, for shelter staff, we feel this, shelter industry has never been a high paying industry, unfortunately. And so, we can relate to how easily it would be to have a crisis and how deeply we love our own pets. So I think it makes us really sympathetic and open-minded to people expressing need, and we can put our judgments aside, because we could very easily be there, and some of us maybe are, and struggling right now as well.
I absolutely agree. I love focusing on that equity issue and on not shaming people for what choices they have to make or what they're kind of forced into. I really love that, and I think it's especially important to have your pet when you're going through those crises. Is that's your comfort, that's your stability. So I'm really, really excited about this. It's wonderful. Could you tell me who all is eligible and how you would kind of prove eligibility or go through that process?
So we've tried really hard to create a process that helps maintain dignity for people that need help. And so as much as possible, we've really tried to simplify our process. And so we have a very simple questionnaire that we ask people to complete, or we can help them fill it out if we need to. That just gives us background information about what their needs are, and just a little bit of demographic information to help us, because we want to be able to keep this fund going for the long haul. And so having good data about our community will help us to be able to get additional funding in the future. But it's really, less than 5 minutes to sign up. And, we are to a large degree relying on people just being honest about what their needs are. We're not asking people to jump through hoops to get help.
Yeah, agreed. So everyone's eligible. We're not doing any kind of means testing. We're not asking for documentation of any kind. Really trying to make sure that this is accessible to anyone, regardless of documentation status, language, accessibility, etc. Right now, the application and all the materials are in English. Later today, we'll have the application in Spanish. Hopefully soon, we will have all of the outreach materials in Spanish. We just got the translation in, so need to now make that pretty. And we're, like Shannon said, we're trying to make sure that everyone is able. We do need folks to live in Kansas. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, great. That's wonderful. So, and you mentioned, Shannon, that there's kind of a list of things that are covered, but you're wanting to go outside the box. Could you mention some of those things that are covered?
Yeah, so someone, especially if someone's had an issue with having to find a new home recently, they may be facing something like pet rent or pet deposit, and we can assist with that. Even if they aren't necessarily moving and they're having a hard time making that end meet, we can certainly jump in and try to help with that. Medical care, I think, is big for a lot of pet owners. So, vaccines are something that can easily lapse and someone doesn't have the money to do that. It's also really hard to get into the vet right now. They're just booked up. And so, just getting access even from a time frame is challenging at times. We're also helping with and seeing a lot of need for just basic pet essentials, just putting a meal on the table, so to speak, for their pet is difficult right now for some families. And so flea and tick prevention, we're getting a lot of people that are needing that to keep their pets comfortable, keep themselves comfortable. We're also seeing folks that sometimes need emergency medical care. Maybe they're doing okay with the day-to-day, but to have an animal suddenly have a broken leg or need some kind of expensive diagnostic, those things can be hard to afford in excess of their normal bills. And so, we're equipped to help with some of that as well. But we've also done some creative thinking, like someone who has a containment issue. Is there some way that we can help get their fence fixed? Really we are open to out of the box thinking if it helps keep a pet in the home and that person's situation settled down. We are seeing a lot of folks that need help with temporary housing of their pet. So either placing those animals in a boarding facility, we like to try to use ones that have a doggy daycare component when we can, so the animals are happy and getting a great outlet. Or sometimes we're using our foster homes to help fill that need as well. So if someone has been displaced and they can't take their pet with them, but they're working on a solution that would allow them to be reunited with their pet, we really want to be able to do that. That's been one of the most rewarding things we've seen so far, I think, because people think they have no solution and then we're like, hey, we'll take care of your baby. And then we'd also try to direct them to other social service agencies that may be able to fill some of the other gaps that they have. And so that's really, it's so nice to have all these community partners that want to work together to problem solve folks that are in crisis right now.
Yeah.
Alina, anything else to add to?
I think Shannon really covered all the services. I think one thing, it doesn't relate to the services, but I'll just kind of say is that, we're really grateful to our fosters. One thing that's been, this asks fosters to also suspend any judgment. It takes really special people to take an animal into your home for 3 months. And we found that has kind of been the average length of stay that folks are asking for is 3 months. And to be willing to take an animal in for 3 months and love them and care for them and know that in the end they're going back to their parents. So far we've had fosters that have we've kind of softly launched this, and the announcement went out to the fosters today officially. But we've had fosters that have been willing and wanting to connect with the pet's parents and provide them updates and provide them photos and try to set up visits. And I mean, I'm getting a little emotional talking about it. Like, that's a really special kind of person that'll do that.
Yeah. We had
I
a guy who reached out to us who was in medical crisis, and he had adopted the dog from us a couple months prior. And he asked, was there any way that the pet parent that had fostered the dog could take the dog back during his recovery? Because then he knew it would be with someone he knew, and provide the most stable opportunity for that pet. And we were able to make that happen. And those kinds of solutions are just, they give me goosebumps.
That's wonderful. And it provides the foster an opportunity to kind of check back in with probably a pet they fell in love with in the
Yeah.
first place too. And I think it's really special for if you, like the medical leave thing, if you happen to get COVID and are, you know, unable to care for your pet, or have to quarantine away or something like that, then this is a really nice thing to kind of rely on, and not let that shake up your world even more than it already has. So
Yeah, I mean, if we
yeah,
need to care for the animal, we can. If we need to drop off supplies, we can. We're really flexible to meet the needs.
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I get emotional thinking about this program. This is such a wonderful thing that you all are doing. And I think that also, like, pairing with the other community partners. So if someone needs, you know, utility assistance and also pet deposit or something like that, then
Yeah.
the social service agencies can work together to kind of provide the wraparound services.
Yeah.
How do you apply, or how do you get in contact with you guys specifically about this program?
So there's different ways for folks to connect with us. There is an email address that folks can email, and it's cpr@lawrencehumane.org. Folks are welcome to call. There's a direct line for the CPR Fund. It goes to a phone on my desk. So I'm trying to answer as many calls in real time as possible. And the number is 785-856-0223. And then there's also our website. The website directly for this is lawrencehumane.org/crisis pet retention. And once you go to that, there's a link you can click that says, you know, apply for the CPR fund, and that takes you directly to the application. Hopefully later today, if not today, then tomorrow, it'll also have that available in Spanish to go straight from the website as well. Once we get in that application, it goes to an automated form, and then you know, I'm trying to go through and contact everyone, you know, whether it's email or phone or voicemail, or that application that comes in. You know, I'm trying to get to everyone within 24 hours. Given the high demand that we've experienced, it's becoming more like 48 hours, but really trying. And also folks are able to come to the shelter. You know, we've had people come directly to us, and they come to the Pet Resource Center, the PRC door, asking for assistance with food or what have you. We have paper copies of the application that we have folks fill out in person, and we try to help them as much as possible in real time in that moment as well. We've also had folks reaching out, you know, just to the general Lawrence Humane Society phone, and that gets transferred. Our staff know to transfer that to this line. And we've also asked the community partners to send folks our way. So, you know, we've had great referrals from Bert Nash and from Just Food and Tenants to Homeowners and Trinity Lutheran Pet Pantry. I mean, just, it's been really great. Kind of animal welfare has kind of been isolated from a lot of the social service world. And it's never really been seen as like a health equity or social determinants of health component, and that's not true. So I think this is really changing that. We're trying to get to know everyone, trying to be a better partner, and asking them for referrals.
You're absolutely right. Is there an end time? I think that might be another common question is, do you have to apply by a certain date, or is it time restricted at all?
So that's a really great question. And it is our goal for this to be a long sustained program for us. That being said, we have been generously funded by the Douglas County CARES Act. And so we are on a timeline with some of that specific funding to use it by the end of the year. So it is important that folks who are passionate about the work that we do consider making a donation to the fund, because we don't want it to stop on December 30th. We want to be able to do it all through next year and for many years to come. I do genuinely believe that this is the future of animal welfare. I am confident that there are always going to be some animals that need to enter into the shelter, and that we will keep our shelter plenty full for adoptable pets. But I want the animals that are in the shelter to be the ones that need to be there. If there's someone who loves and wants to advocate for this pet and is just having a hard time, it makes the most sense for all parties involved to stand behind that person and help them. I think that when we talk about helping pets, we have to help people. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. So I'll also just add to that plug that if you have the ability to give, any amount helps, all amounts help. And if you go to that same website, lawrencehumane.org/crisis pet retention, there's also a link that you can click to give specifically to this fund. And we really appreciate it.
Yep.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about the program? I think we've covered a lot of information, and it's been really wonderful. I'm really excited to share this with you.
I just really want to say thank you that you are helping us spread the word and reaching more people that need to know about our program, and also people who might want to support our cause. So I appreciate you getting the word out and educating people about this program.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
I second that thanks, and just would reiterate for anyone that's watching, what a huge need this is. Shannon and I went to Trinity Lutheran Pet Pantry on Saturday, and we signed up 35 folks in 2 hours. And between those 35 folks, there were about 58 animals that are needing, some version of something. We're averaging between 5 and 10 applications a day, at least. There's, for anyone that has any doubts or questions, there is such a huge need. And we don't want folks to have to choose, do they feed themselves or their pet? Do they pay their utilities, or do they get their pets vaccinated? We want to make sure that everything is covered.
That's great. I think most people, or many or most people I know, including myself, have had to kind of weigh out that at some point, if something comes up, just having to figure out what you're going to do. And like you said, it is a social determinant of health, is having that companion well and with you, and having that stability in your life. So
yeah,
that's really wonderful.
Yeah, our pets are such an important component of our mental health.
Yes. And I will add one more thing, which is just that, we're always looking for new foster homes. So if you are particularly impressed by this program and you want to specifically help someone who's in crisis, we would love to add you to our roster of foster homes.
I have fostered. It's so fun. It's wonderful.
It is. And you're better than me at giving the animals back.
At a certain point, then it's like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so very much. And yeah, we'll post this video, and we'll have the link to the website. We'll put the phone number, the email address, and all the other contact information. And I am just so grateful for you both, and hope that you continue to find funding and continue to save lives. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'll as soon as we have everything in Spanish, I'll get that to you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.